On this Shabbat Emor, when the holiness code continues shifting from priestly purity to the sacred calendar of all Israel, a telling redundancy reminds us of how important our gathering is tonight, and not just for us alone. The Eternal One spoke to Moses saying, "Speak to Israel and tell them, Moadei Adonai. These are my special times, the fixed times of Adonai, which you must proclaim as sacred occasions." The Midrash wonders, if they're already God's fixed times, why do we need to proclaim them? And they answer, for if we do not make them sacred, they will not be God's sacred times. We've all had people in our lives, and you know them, you may be them, who do not celebrate their birthdays. People for who a birthday is just another day. They don't want to grow another year older. It's just any other day of the year. The first time I went to Israel, 18 years old, we were in Tel Aviv for Rosh Hashanah. We walked by the beach on the way to the synagogue, and the beach was filled. And my friend Sharon Stern said to me, "Wow, I guess they can't be Jewish." And I said, "What do you mean? They're all Israeli, talking Hebrew, playing paddleball and swimming." They were having a fun day. Was it Yom Kippur for them? These are the fixed times of Adonai, which you must proclaim as sacred. The sacred calendar relies on us to live it. From Pesach to Shavuot, from Shabbat to Shabbat, our taking the time makes the time. Gathering tonight to reflect and renew, to collectively pause, to reaffirm our purpose, not alone marks it as Shabbat for us, but invites God in.
So we invite our two very special guests this evening, Cece Levine and her mom, and Max Prager and his mom, to join us to light the Sabbath candles. It may be a little bit ritual because I don't know that the flames are going to last, but the spirit is there and the light is there. Come on. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlikneh shel Shabbat. That's why we said it was rich. So. Our Kiddush is on the bottom of the first page. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit ki hu yom techila lemikra'e kodesh zecher letziat mitzrayim ki vanu v'acharta ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu baruch atah Adonai mikadesh hashabbat. Amen. L'chaim. We begin warming up our voices. I hear if you warm up your voices, it just warms up your bodies. So let's all sing a little quietly together. Your mask, just sing it out. We're beginning with Shir Adonai. now, the pinnacle of our service, Lecha Dodi.
Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Hene Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Hene Shabbat nekabela. Shamo v'zachur, Diborecha hishmianu, El hamyuchad Adonai echad, U'shemo echad, Shemo tiferet, Elitila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Hene Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Hene Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat, lechu v'necha ki mekor, haberacha merosh mikedem nesuka, sof maaseh b'machshava tchila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Hene Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Hene Shabbat nekabela. Hitoreri kiva orech, kumi ori shidaberi kavod Adonai halayich nikla. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Hene Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Hene Shabbat nekabela. Boy v'shalom, Ateret malagam b'simcha, Uv'tzola toch emunei, Am segula, Boi chala, Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Hene Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Hene Shabbat nekabela.
But don't sit down so fast. Rabbi Sean Zavit understands what the call to prayer, our Baruch Hu, is calling us to. It's staying in touch with the longing that gets me in touch with prayer. If we don't try to solve the question, if we don't look at prayer as providing the answer, but as being a conversation, then we can enter the dialogue. So do we hear the call to prayer as the start of a conversation, the yearnings that we all share, and the hunger our heart alone knows. Our call.
עמך אהבת, עמך אהבת. תורה ומצוות, חוקים ומשפטים, אותנו לימדת, אותנו לימדת. על כן אדוני אלוהינו בשוכבנו ובקומנו נשיח בחוקיך, ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד, כי הם חיינו לאורך ימינו, ובהם נגה יומם ולילה, נגה יומם ולילה. ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים, ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל. שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד. ברוך שם כבוד מלכותו לעולם ועד. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Amen. Consider what prevents you from reaching the other side, from making real the redemption of your spirit, your psyche. What keeps you still enslaved by unfounded fear, bound by barriers not really there? From author Marion Williamson, thanks to my dear friend, our teacher, Cantor Ellen Dreskin. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? Your playing small does not serve the world. There's nothing enlightening about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We were born to manifest the glory that is within us. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we liberate our own fear, our presence liberates others. Light sparks light. Redemption begins when we see it inside and shine it out to warm and enlighten our world.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, נורא תהילות עושה פלא. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, נורא תהילות עושה פלא. Who is like you? Who is like you? Who is like you? Adonai. Who is like you? Who is like you? Who is like you? Adonai. מלכותך ראו בניך בוקי הים, לפני משה ומרים זה אלינו, ענו ואמרו. אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. Who is like you? Adonai. Who is like you? Who is like you? Who is like you?
We rise for our tefillah in stature or in spirit. Adonai, Sefatai Tiftach, Ufi Yagid, Tehilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei Hakol, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לפני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב והושיע, מוריד הטל, מחכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים,
ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומידו מלך, מלך מנית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
The Maharal of Prague teaches prayer happens when we empty ourselves of words. This is a moment of conversation with the Creator, an outpouring of personal hopes, but after all the words, allowing the inner silence to speak, perhaps that will be the place, the uttermost silence, when your prayer is heard by the Holy One. Take a couple of minutes for your own silent prayer.
יהיו לרצון אמרי פי, והגיון ליבי לפניך. אדוני צורי וגואלי, אדוני צורי וגואלי. May the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable to you, Adonai, my rock and my redeemer. יהיו לרצון אמרי פי, והגיון ליבי לפניך. אדוני צורי וגואלי, אדוני צורי וגואלי.
You know, there's a lot of stuff that's just beyond us, that we just can't control. And so you take what you get, and what a beautiful garden, what a beautiful night. It's so wonderful you're here to celebrate Shabbat, and we warm each other. And when we read Torah, like if you're from LA, let's say, like Jake, and you're feeling especially cold because you've already accustomed to that West Coast, the Torah will warm you from the inside out. You'll still be shivering, by the way, but you're inside warm.
כי מציון תצא תורה, כי מציון תצא תורה, ודבר אדוני בירושלים.
We're going to read a little Torah, You can sit down. We just put the Torah down. But we're going to read a little Torah, and then I'm going to talk a little Torah, and hopefully we'll get it all in. It'll be beautiful. My challenge to you, or my question to you, is this: if in recent days or even weeks you've spoken words that sparked another person's spirit, or words that you spoke engendered hope, or helped someone smile, or helped someone believe in themselves, or even in life, if your words were uplifting, renewing, reviving, life affirming for even one person, then this aliyah is for you. Stand in your seat. If any of those, because I bet many of us, or at least a few, have spoken those kind of words. You don't even have to say the blessing. We'll say it all together. But if you've done that, spoken uplifting words, renewing words, hopeful words to some other person, this aliyah is yours. Just stand in your seat. Awesome. Awesome. You ready? 1, 2, 3. Baruch hu et Adonai hamborach. Baruch Adonai hamborach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Amen. Vayetze ben isha Yisraelit, v'hu ben ish mitzri betoch b'nei Yisrael. There came out the son of an Israelite woman who was the son of an Egyptian among the community of Israel. Vayinatsu b'machaneh ben ha'Yisraelit v'ish ha'Yisraeli. And there a fight broke out between this half Israelite man and an Israelite. Vayikov ben ha'isha ha'Yisraelit et Hashem vayikalel. And the half Israelite man spoke in blasphemy the name of God. Vayavi'u oto el Moshe. And they brought him to Moses. V'shem imo Shlomit bat Divri l'matedan. By the way, the name of his mother was Shlomit, the son of Divri, the daughter of Divri, or speaking, from the tribe of Dan. Vayinachuhu b'mishmar, they held him in custody, lifrosh lahem al pi Adonai, to see what they should do with him by God's decree. I'll tell you the rest of the story in a few minutes. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. We'll speak about Torah in a minute, but first, in the presence of this sacred scroll, our hope for healing, Rabbi Bradley Shavit Artson reframes what healing might mean for us. I realized that in moments of crisis in my life, I never expected prayer to get rid of the problem. When I thought I was going to lose my wife, I cried, I pounded the wall, I was talking to God out loud. 2 nurses walked by and said, "I'm not worried about the mom, I'm worried about the dad." I turned around and said, "I'm doing exactly what I need to be doing right now." In that prayer moment, I wasn't alone. I had no expectation of changing the outcome, but I knew the Holy One was with me. The Holy One would not leave me alone. So I prayed my heart out, and it was enough. At a moment like this, we can't always expect a different outcome, but we certainly can pray our hearts out. We rise as a congregation with hope. those whose healing is in our hearts, as well as those in our congregational community. We call by name Enid Elton, Louise Elton, Bonnie Davis, Lori Weinberg, David Goldstein, Stanley Tereski, Bob Glassman, Marty Feldner, Andy Rosenthal, Patricia Zabata, Avraham Yochanan, Dov Lesser, Louis Siegel, Nate Moskowitz, Ari Fox, Keith Schoen, Barbara Peabody, June Foreman, Paul Wiggins, Jody Kahn, Joseph Spinelli, Lawrence Cohen, Susie Wolfson, Antonia and Alita Chipola, Harriet Katz, Pat Ryan, Sam Phillip, Jerry Gallner, Ian Spear, Norton Blumberg, Kerry Rossman, Julie Ross, Deb Margolin, Paul Stampleman, Scott Siegel, Greg Kellner, Daniel Foley, and George Siminoff. Will anyone here add a name in hopes of healing? With their hope in our hearts, we pause and pray for them now.
May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say
Amen.
וזאת התורה ששם משה לפני בני ישראל, אני אדוני ביד משה.
I have a really good Devar Torah. It's 3.5 pages. You don't need to hear it. I'm just going to tell you the essence. So the guy in Torah gets stoned to death. That's what it says. Stone him to death. And my problem is, that's Jewish, that's holy, that's Israelite. And so I think about Shirley Jackson. I wasn't around in 1948, but I remember as a freshman in high school, and we all probably have these moments, reading with Mrs. Gosby the story, The Lottery by Shirley Jackson. And I couldn't believe the ending. It's a quaint New England town. They're all celebrating. It's a picnic. It's June. There's soda pop. There's whatever. And Tessie Hutchinson gets the lottery. And she gets to be stoned to death by the community. That's the story. And I said, that's the story? And Mrs. Gosby said, yep. What do you think? Write an essay. And I was broken. I couldn't believe it. And of course, I asked my rabbi at home, Rabbi Abraham Isaac Jacobson, the best rabbinic name in the business. And Rabbi Jacobson said to me, it's in the Torah. And I said, what do you mean it's in the Torah? And he told me, and I couldn't believe it. So here's my reconciliation. If you look at the Talmud, it says this happened, this never happened. Lo hayav lo yehiyeh. This thing will never happen. It didn't happen. Look at the next line in Torah. It says, after they say stone him, and anybody who kills another human being will be put to death himself. So they say it didn't happen. I like that. which I think means we're not supposed to take God's name in vain. Even more than that, this guy was going to be put to death because he forgot something. He used God's name as if it was a curse. He didn't just say, God damn you. He looked at somebody else and didn't see God's reflection. So what are we supposed to do? We are supposed to uplift with our words. We're supposed to understand, and we've experienced this in our nation in the past, well, let's say 4 years or so, how words can not only divide, but destroy. And so what are we supposed to do with our words? Uplift. We are supposed to create, not destroy. We are supposed to love, never hate. And so the kicker is this: you never know what you say to somebody and how it might impact them forever. This Sunday is ordination, where our rabbinic intern is going to get ordained at Temple Emmanuel live. We can't go, we're going to watch it. And so is one other person you should know. Does anybody here remember Zach Pleasant? Thank you. Zach Pleasant was our kid. He was a bar mitzvah here. He was in my class this year in the 5th year in HUC. And we talked last week in preparation and anticipation of his big day. Been a big supporter. He was our youth group president. He majored in Jewish studies in Indiana. And Zach said to me, I just want to thank you. I said, for what? He said, for what you said to me on the bima of my bar mitzvah. I said, you remember what I said to you on the bima? He said, exactly. He said, this business would be very good for you. You look great in the tallis, and someday you'll make a great rabbi. Now, I'm going to be honest. I don't remember, but he remembered. Our words can impact and forge a future. They can make somebody turn in a way that's to life as opposed to the other way. So realize you have that same gift. Use your words to uplift and celebrate people, even if you don't know them. Did the cantor leave? I thought you left. I was so nervous. I said, the cantor didn't leave. She's too cold. We rise for Aleinu.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, בגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים, לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו
Kaddish enables us to continue the conversation and ideally to hear the words of those who are no longer with us, but who are still speaking to us about life, conveying their love, and mostly telling us what to do and what not to do, as they probably did during their lifetimes. This Shabbat, we especially call to mind the yortzites observed in our congregational family of Eva Labe, Sybil Wofsy Shapiro, Donald Fern, Paul Marks, Claire Cantor, Henry Gutag, Julius Fine, Gabrielle Feldman Rosengard, Simon Kalos, Philip Bosworth, Leona Glass, Helen Friedlander, Judith Stroll, Arthur Hupsch, Bruce Bernstein, Jacob Friedlander, George Korn, Stuart Fishman, Sarah Rutstein, Marla Sands, Sam Levine, Gwen Jacobs, Melvin N. Borden, Frank Stavis, Mary Halpern, Henry Lieberman, Harry Potash, Barney Goldberg, Samuel Brooker, William Perkel, Claire Rome, Jonathan William Sands, Samuel Goodman, Ruth Plofsky Barish, Naomi Keys, Martin Lukowitz, and Henry Rosenberg. Will anyone here add a name in sacred remembrance? Along with the over 570,000 people who have been felled by this vicious virus in our country, and far too many who've been killed not by words, but by guns and by violence and senseless hate, bias that leads to destruction. Every life a world. We remember in Shloshim, the last 30 days, those who've left our world in our congregational family: Lieutenant George Alvarez, brother of Kathy Porter; Ellen Sanger, wife of Mort, sister of David and daughter of Ken; Andy Fusco, husband of Judy Nathan, father of Bella and Erin, brother-in-law of Michael Nathan, Amy Kreisberg, and uncle of Daniel and Jordan; Al Barron, husband of Donna, father of Jeff and Amy, father-in-law of Ed, grandfather of Sam and Maddie, brother of Eve; Nathaniel Reichik, brother of Ruth Barron; Barbara Markson, aunt of Andy Harrison; Michael Wishner, father of Corey; and Bill Sussman, husband of Jennifer, father of Harry and Matt. The memories of all of them are with us, along with the offerings of our own hearts. We remember their voices. We celebrate their love as we share in words of Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, ba'alma divrach yerutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayachon v'yomechon, v'chaye decho beit Yisrael, ba'agala v'zman kari v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam u'lamei maya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitale v'yitalal shemei dekudsha barichu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tush bechata v'nechamata da'ami ran bi'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama Rabbah min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Ose shalom bimromav hu yaseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imeru. Amen. Zichronam livracha. May their memories be for blessing. Amen. Have a seat for a second. We have some brief announcements.
It's so nice to be with all of you here in the garden. It's been quite exciting. Thank you so much, Jonathan and Cantor and Rabbi, for the beautiful service. As you heard Rabbi say, rabbinic intern Binder will be ordained on Sunday. But just before that, tomorrow morning, she'll be teaching Hebra, so join in for that. And next Friday night, we will celebrate Rabbi Binder and wish her well. She's been with us for 3 years. It's gone by so fast. She's become such an integral part of LT. So please register to wish her well again next Friday. Tomorrow morning, we have Max Prager and Cece Levine being called to the Torah as bar and bat mitzvah and to teach Torah. Congratulations to you and your family for reaching this wonderful milestone in your Jewish journey. Mazel tov. And lastly, Sunday, we have Welcoming Back Brotherhood is doing a breakfast with Marty Tankeloff and Professor Mark Howard from Georgetown, where they teach a groundbreaking class called Making an Exoneree. I attended their first presentation 2 years ago. It was enlightening. I encourage you to attend. Shabbat Shalom.
So tonight it's wintry out, but tomorrow for the bar mitzvah, it's going to be gorgeous. It's going to be like summertime. I'm just saying. Cantor told me, I believe what she says.
As we join together for our closing song, remembering Rabbi Serkman's words that words matter and that every life is sacred. Join me.
Oh Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true, with thanksgiving. I'll be a living sanctuary for you. of my heart be acceptable to you, God, my rock and my
Shabbat
Shabbat
shalom.
shalom.